Hey folks, Josh Stein here. Today I want to talk about judgment. If you're familiar with my work, you may know that I have been fascinated by and troubled by judgment, well, my entire life, but especially in the last 10 years in the circling and authentic relating community. I have a lot that I could say about judgment. I'm not going to go into it too much here, but if you want to know more, I will link a blog post that I wrote 2 years ago on the topic in the description to the video. The short version of it being, I think that judgment is important for us to explore for a number of different reasons. And the way I see judgment is as an attempt, my attempt to protect or advocate for something that matters to me, which can be a vulnerable, fragile part of myself, like fear or hurt, that I'm trying to protect. It can also be a value that's really important to me that I'm trying to advocate for that maybe feels threatened. Today, I want to talk about a question that I've gotten a lot. So I've created a process for working with judgment and exploring it to get more in touch with ourselves, to see what we can learn from our judgments. And I was doing this process with a one-on-one client of mine, and she asked me a question that I get a lot around this, and I thought I'd answer it for everyone. And the question is, isn't judgment just projection? When I'm judging someone as obnoxious, doesn't that just mean that either I'm obnoxious, I'm the one who's obnoxious, and I'm just thinking it's them, or I see myself as obnoxious and I can't tolerate it in me, so I can't tolerate it in them either. And so I have my answer is twofold to this. So first answer is yes. My second answer is no. First answer is yes. Oftentimes, but not all the time, when I'm judging someone else, yes, it can be a projection. That is true, and it can be useful to ask myself that question, to give myself more understanding, more insight, and sometimes it can help me soften the charge that I have towards someone else. If I have the resourcefulness and self-courage to take that stance within myself, if it's coming from a grounded place, that can be really helpful. If it's coming from a grounded place. However, I think there is a huge danger in doing this and only this, starting from this place, especially for people who are prone to shame, insecurity, low self-esteem. Because in those moments, when I judge someone, I am seeing myself as doing something wrong. So it's an opportunity for my shame to creep up, and it's a convenient opportunity for that shame to then berate me, to make me wrong, to punish me for being rotten. So it's like when I see myself judging someone, there's this like busted, now let's punish you by seeing how rotten you are. That has me curl up into myself, has me want to hide, has me disengage from the other person. It might avoid conflict momentarily, but it doesn't necessarily make, especially from that stance, it doesn't make the problem go away. It dampens my vitality. You might notice that judgments bring a lot of energy to them oftentimes when we let ourselves judge or see other people judge. There can be a lot of energy there. And so when I do that move of shaming myself for it, I go inward and it dampens that vitality. In the long run, that can lead to depression, I believe. Just one of the many factors, because it's a much bigger topic. And it can lead me, I think, so one is the danger of just suppressing my own life force and not enjoying my life as much. But two, more importantly, well, just to say slightly more about that, when I do that, I believe I'm splitting off from myself, because we get worked up in judgment, I believe, because something matters to us. Because there's an attempt at protecting something important, or advocating for something that matters to us, and there can be a dignity in that, actually. And so when we just go straight to projection and straight to making ourselves wrong, we cut ourselves off from that dignity, and that can, over the long term, not be very pleasant, at the very least. But the other danger here is that it'll actually lead you to an expectation on yourself that you need to tolerate situations that actually maybe aren't working for you, or situations that are life draining, because it sort of gives you the view that, oh, if I'm judging someone, I'm the one who's in the wrong, therefore they can't be in the wrong, they're pure, and so that anything that they do that I have a problem with, if I have a problem with it, it must mean that I haven't done my work, or I'm not trying hard enough to be compassionate enough, or something like that. I imagine that one's probably familiar to a lot of people. I just need to be more compassionate. There's another word for this, and it's called narcissistic abuse, or codependency. And it's a natural human pattern, so I don't want to add this as another thing to be ashamed about. But to just recognize that you could actually be putting yourself in harm's way, or, at very least being a doormat, letting yourself get, taken advantage of, or even just, doing things that aren't in your best interest. So, yeah, taking the frame that judgment is only projection can be harmful. So what do you do instead? As I mentioned, I've created a whole process around working with judgment. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I'm going to give you the very quick version. And that is 3 steps. Step 1 is, what do I want instead? Step 2 is, why does that matter to me? And step 3 is, when they don't do that, how does that impact me? This can be something you do as a writing exercise. So as an example, I'll just have to make something up. I'm judging someone as being, I don't know, mean. This person is mean. So I ask myself, what do I want? Well, I want this person to be nice to me. And you can say a lot or say a little bit about this, but let yourself say what you really want, even if it would be a little bit unreasonable. Step 2, why does that matter to me? I want this person to be nice to me because I'm having a really hard time, and I'm feeling kind of alone when this happens, and I'd really prefer to feel together with this person. I actually want to be able to feel like I'm on the same team with this person. That's what matters to me. And the third step is, okay, and when they're not nice to me, how does it impact me? And you might find anger or frustration, or you might find other things. But whatever you find, see if you can actually feel it in your body, and linger there for some time, breathe into it, and then ask yourself, is there anything underneath this? With anger, almost 100% of the time, anger is a projecting emotion. So there's usually something underneath that is protecting, oftentimes fear, hurt, or helplessness. There could also be disappointment and other things, but take some time to actually feel into that. And then, and only then, after you've connected with yourself, you've connected with what's important to you that would have you be judging in the first place, then that's when you can start to deconstruct the judgment if you want to, if you feel it's necessary. That's when you can ask yourself, is there any way in which I'm judging myself for the same thing, or that I'm guilty of the same thing I'm judging? Or am I making any assumptions? Is my judgment true? The work of Byron Katie can be really useful at this point. There's a number of different ways that you can deconstruct the judgment. Anyway, that's the short version of the process. Looking at judgments as projection can be helpful if you're coming from a connected, grounded place. However, if you're coming from a place of shame and insecurity, low self-confidence, all those different things, I would recommend not looking at judgment as projection, partly because it's only sometimes projection. I believe it's oftentimes other things. I would love it if you did those 3 steps of what did I prefer? What did I really want? Why does that matter to me? And how does it impact me when that didn't happen? And you can do it as a journaling exercise, and let me know how it went, or send me a message. If you have any questions about anything I shared, or comments, if you agree or disagree, loved it or hated it, let me know. Hit the like button, or I suppose the dislike button if you really want to. And if you want more of these videos, if you're on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button. You can hit the bell icon. You can also subscribe to my email list and Facebook group. Information about that is in the description, and also my article about my views on judgment. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you think. That's all. Until next time. Thanks a lot. Ciao.